And let me share my screen. Okay. So we are going to talk about two different types of queries. One is called as SOQL, which is called as Salesforce Object Query Language, and the other one is SOSL, which is Salesforce Object Search Language. And majority of the time, you will be using SOQL. SOSL is used when you are searching a particular text across multiple objects. Okay, so let's get started. Okay. So Salesforce stores data in objects, which is basically nothing but it's called tables in a database language. Now, to read the data or filter the data means, let's say you have thousands of records, you're only interested in the records that were created 30 days prior, or you want to search the data inside of Apex code. Salesforce has two ways of querying the data. Okay, one is you have is the SOQL, which is Salesforce Object Query Language. And the purpose is it queries record from a single object with optional related records. Okay, so if let's say you want to query from account as well as from contacts, you can do it inside of SOQL, but the objects should be related. Okay, it is very similar to SQL for if you were coming from database side, you probably have written SQL queries. So it's very similar to that SOQL in Salesforce. Now, SOSL is a search language. It basically searches for a given text across multiple objects. Let's say you are trying to query a specific name on lead, on contact. So you want to see if that name appears under lead, if that name appears under contact. If you have something like that kind of a scenario, then in that case, you will do write the SOSL, which search across multiple objects simultaneously. So if there are multiple objects and they don't have to be related to each other. In the case of SQL, majority of the time you will be targeting one object. Okay, query from this specific object, or maybe you can also include a parent object or child object as well. Whereas in SOSL, those objects can be unrelated to each other and can be multiple object you are querying at a given time. Now, what is the key difference between the SOQL and the SOSL? So one major difference is, as I mentioned, SOQL is one object most of the time. SOSL, you are searching across a text across multiple object. And SOQL is if you want precise field lookup. Okay, let's say you are interested in fetching the name field, the industry field, the revenue field, then that is SOQL. And in the SOSL, you're doing a keyword search. Okay, specific name that you want to search across multiple objects, or email that you want to search across. So then you will use SOSL. Now, SOQL will give you the return will be a list of that object. Okay, so for example, if you say select ID from accounts, okay, if you say something like this from account, now what is the return type of this query? It is going to give you list of accounts, right? Or you can, this is going to be a list of account that this query is going to return. Whereas in the case of SOSL, it is going to give you list of S objects. Okay, so it will be something like list, and then there is going to be another list of an object, like it could be account, or it would be majority of the time S object, because you're searching across multiple objects. Once we do an example of SOSL, things will get clear. Now, SOQL is similar to a select statement in SQL. SOSL is like a search engine query. Now, any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Now, both SOQL and SOSL count against Salesforce governor limits. So, as we discussed, Salesforce has put some guardrails around how you use the resources of Salesforce. So, there is a restriction on how many queries you can run per transaction. So, here you can execute a maximum of 100 or SOQL queries and 20 SOSL queries per transaction. I believe it's 150 or 100, one of those number. I don't know exactly, but you can verify what is the Salesforce governor limits for SOQL queries. And if you try to exceed this limit, it is going to throw a governor limit exception, which you cannot handle it. Now, let's go ahead and talk more. What is it?
What is considered as a transaction? Like when you say like 100 or 150?
Means when you click on a button, let's say. Okay. Now, let's say you filled up a form and you filled up a form. In that form, you had asked for you entered a name, you entered age, email, and then you hit the save button. So that the saving it to the database, that becomes a whole transaction. If, for example, if you have written your code by using a future method or anything, then it spins off another transaction. Okay, so that you can spin up, but usually if you're using a trigger or this happens in the same transaction. And I can show you tomorrow with an example. I have to figure it out. Is if I can show you two transactions. Okay, this is one transaction, this is a start of another transaction. Hopefully I have to figure out if I can find something like that for you, but that's a good question. Usually the whole circle saving happening to the database, all of that is considered as one transaction.
Okay.
So the minimum SOQL statement needs select. So you start from select, that is the exact keyword you will use, and then you will specify which fields you want to retrieve from that object. Okay, so let's say you're querying the account. So you will specify select whichever fields, and you cannot use select star from account. That star wild character is not available in Salesforce. All the field names and object API names are case insensitive. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you're using uppercase or lowercase, it is case insensitive. Okay, so now let's look at the syntax here. So as I mentioned to you, this is how the syntax looks like. You will use the keyword select, then field one, which it could be, let's say if you're talking about object as account, field could be name, revenue, then field two, a comma separated list, and then you will use the keyword from, and then the name of the object. And the result is a list of this object. That is, or you can put S object also, because every object is derived from S object. Now here you are querying all the name, ID, name, industry from the account. And this is where the return is. You're putting everything back into list of account. And if you have like a for loop, you can print the value of each account one by one using a for loop. Similarly, here, if you want that, okay, I'm only interested in one record to be returned, not all. This is going to return all the records that are available in the account object. If there are 100, it will return you 100. If there are 10,000, it will try to return all those records. Whereas over here, it is going to put only one record will be returned because you added a limit here. And then here, if you want to display, you can use something like a dot of name and industry of that account. So if you want to display each of those, you can use a code like this. So very simple. If I go ahead and run this, so this one is going to, I'm going to remove the query. And if I just execute this and we go here, okay, I'll go ahead and remove this. And if I execute it, okay, now you can see here, this is a debug statements are there, and whatever the number of the accounts for each of the accounts, it is displaying you the name and the industry. So you can see here, it is displaying the sample account name, Tech Corp, all of those accounts it is returning. So no matter how many accounts it has, it is going to return all. Now, if you put a limit here, it is only going to return you those number of account records only. So here you have, these are only returning 5 records. So you can put a limit as well. Now, an important tip is always include the ID field in your select clause. It is a best practice because most DML operations like update or delete will require the record ID, because on that basis, it will understand if it is an existing record or a new record. Okay. Now, some of the objects and their important fields, we don't have to worry about it. And you can take a look at object and the fields using the fields and relationships. So if you just want to figure out what all fields are there, you will go over to the setup, you will go over to the object manager. And under the object manager, if you look for account, you will figure out this is the account object. And under the account object, these are all the fields that are there. And you will copy the API name of the field if you want to query them inside of Apex. So going back here, similarly, you can figure out case, fields, and all that. Now, the next important thing is filtering with where clause. Okay, so if you want a specific record to be returned, or let's say you're only interested in the opportunities which are in a given status, or sorry, given stage. So if you say, okay, give me all the opportunities which are in prospecting, so you can have a filter criteria. So the where clause filters records based on field conditions similar to SQL. Without the where, all the records in the object are returned. So if you don't put a where clause, everything that is available in that table, all of those records will be returned depending upon the governor limits. And I believe you can retrieve up to 10,000 records through one select statement. So here you can see I'm only asking to give me all the accounts where industry is technology. So if I go here, I believe everybody does have the Salesforce inspector. If you don't have it, I already told you how to get it. So here, if I go select ID, name from account, and here I can also query the industry. And you can see here, these are the records it returned. Okay, 19 records. Now, if I put the filter here where industry is equals to, I can go ahead and say industry equals to technology. And if you want, so right now it will go ahead and return you only 3 records. Now, let's say you also want another industry records as well. So if I go ahead and pick up another industry, which is, let me see, do we have anything else? Energy. Okay, so I can say where industry, and I can put in, you can say, we can say energy here, and I can also put technology. So it will return me all the account records which either are belonging to energy industry or technology. Okay, so there is this clause also you can add where you can test for multiple values. Now, similarly, if you want to do a wild character search, okay, so you don't know the email, so you can do something like this. So here I'm retrieving from contact. So let's see. First of all, let's see if we have email, and here I can say where email is not equals to null. So it will give you all the contact where email is present. Okay. And let's say you want only those contacts which ending with demo. So here I can say and email. So you can use something like this, email like, and you can say percentage means anything can come in place of that percent sign. And you will say demo.com and end up. So how does this work? So it says any characters or word can come before demo, but the email should end with demo.com. Now, if you want that, okay, after demo.com, it can have something else also, you will put a quote over there as well. So wherever you expect a value, you replace it with percent sign. And you will always, whenever you're using wild characters, you will use the like operator. Any questions, guys? I'll repeat it if you want. So here, you can see I want filter contacts with a specific email domain. So if you don't know that email, exact email, so you can do a wildcard search as well. And you are saying that, okay, give me all the emails which end with demo.com. So which all emails are ending with demo.com? Sam at demo.com, Nina at demo.com, Ram at demo.com, Deborah at demo. So all of these will be returned. So here, if I go ahead and run this, it is giving me all of these contacts back because their email is something like this. Any questions on using the wildcard? Lena, are you following?
That's clear. Thank you.
It was
Like it's like contains. So sorry, Amar.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Like is like contains, right?
Like is contains is different. Like means if you want to do a similar search, that is when you're going to use like. And anytime you're going to do, if you're using wild character, you will use something like. Okay. Omar, you had a question?
Yeah, the percentage sign you would have to put before.
No. So if let's say, so percentage means if you want these records to come up, Deborah, Nina, if you put no percentage, it will look for exactly with demo.com. Do you have any contacts with demo.com? Probably no. So now no records will come. But if you want that it should end with demo.com, but it can have anything in the beginning. So that's why you're using the while character here.
Okay.
Okay. If let's say you want, now in this case, I'll put demo.com %. Now, do you think will the records that came earlier, will it come now? Those Deborah and all of that, will they appear?
I'm not sure. No.
No, because see, if you go here, the demo.com, are there any records which are which have demo.com and then %? No. So
Okay.
here, if I go to contacts and if I put Arthur Sung and I put update the email and I say the email I update and I say Arthur at, I'll say demo.com 1. Now what will happen is, oh, let me put at. Okay. Arthur. So here, let's say this is the email address I updated. Now if I go here and I want anything in the beginning can be there, ending should, in between there should be demo.com strictly, and anything could be there at the end. So now only one, the whole of those will retrieve because see, they satisfy it. Arthur at demo.com came, as well as the remaining ones came because all of them have demo.com in their name, in their email addresses. So anything that you want to get replaced, that's why you're going to use percentage sign. Okay, so now if I tell you, give me all the contacts which have, okay, so I give me all the accounts with the word United in there. How will I write the query? Give me all the accounts which have the name like United. What do I need to do in this case? So I'll say select ID, comma name, comma industry. Let's say if I only also want to put industry from account where name, there can be three possibilities. One is you want an exact match. Okay. You don't know the exact name, so you just don't know, you can't do exact match. So what we will do, we will use the like operator and we'll say name like United. Okay. Now, this will only give you records which have just United in them. So if I go and do this, nothing is going to come up, even though there are several contacts, several accounts with the word United, but none of them pulled up because I didn't put a while character telling me anything can come before United and also after United. So then what will happen is all these three accounts came. This is the power of using percent the while character. Are you getting my point? So if you just did not use anything, it will look for something which is exactly like the word United. And none of the accounts had the name as United, but there were accounts which had United, but they also had something else after them. So then those accounts got pulled up. I hope that makes sense now.
Yes.
Okay. Similarly, if you go and if you want, let's say this is another query we have. And here, very simple one. If I want to pull all the opportunities where amount is greater than 50,000. So this is, you can put a comparison operator as well. So it is giving you all the opportunities where amount is greater than 50,000. And as you can see here, it gave you 25 records back. And if you look at the amount field, all of them have more than 50,000 as the amount. Very simple, self-explanatory. And now next say is if you want to fetch. So tell me, what is this query doing? Lohit, let's start with you. What is this query doing?
That query is basically retrieving a contact where account ID is not equal to null. So any contacts which are not associated with an account.
Excellent. Okay, so only those contacts will be retrieved which are related to an account. Okay, so here, as you know, on the contact object, you have a field called account ID, which connects those contacts to that account. So only those contacts are returned where the account ID is present. So you can see here, and if you want to figure out which account, you can also do that by querying the parent. So contact is the child, account is the parent, right? So you can query the parent field as well using the dot notation. So you can say account dot of name. Now what it will do, it will retrieve the name of the account as well. So if I run it, it will give me the name as well. So only those contacts are returned where the name is present. And I also showed you how you can query the parent object fields from the child object. So you are actually querying the child object, but you're also able to fetch the parent object field as well. Similarly, if you want to fetch the account ID, you can do that also, which is already a field. And otherwise, you can also say any fields you want to access on the account, you can do that as well. These are all the fields that are available on the account object, which you can query through this child object contact. Okay, using the dot annotation. Now, next one is we can also use comparison and logical operator. Okay, so here, if I say where name is equals to Acme, now let's go ahead and so here equals to means it will give you all the, let's say we're doing it on the accounts, it will give you all the accounts where the name is Acme. Not equals to means give me everything where the status, so this is a not equals to sign, okay? This is an equals to sign, this is a not equals to. So exclamation mark and equals to, then it is greater than and greater than equal to. Then this is less than equal to. Like means if you want to do a pattern match, and I already showed you, percentage means it's a wild card. And if you want something like name like Acme, so now if I have, okay, this is for you, Omar. If I have accounts with the name Acme 1, so Acme 2, and Acme 10, and okay, so these are all the accounts I have. Now, when I run this query, which all accounts will be returned?
All of the accounts?
Look at it again. Look at it again. Not all the accounts.
I mean, all the Acme.
So which
accounts.
one? Will it return? Will it return the first one?
Yes, first, second, third, and fourth, but not fifth.
Very good. Okay. If I had something like this, okay. If I say, if I have, if I change this to percentage Acme, okay. Now here, I'll also add a percentage Acme. So this will return this Acme. It will also return one Acme 2. Okay. If I say Acme 3, all of these will be returned. Okay. This will be returned, this will be returned, and this will be returned. So because you have wild character, anything can come here, anything can come here. So, but the main thing is they should have the word Acme in them, which all three satisfy. That's why all of these accounts will be returned. Now, another operator you have is in. So as I mentioned, stage in. So if you want to say, give me all the opportunities where stage is either closed won or closed lost, either of them, so you can use in operator. If you want to exclude, then you will say not in finance. So it will give you everything as long as industry is not finance. Okay. Includes means if you want to have, if you're having a doing a filtering on a multi-select, and if you say that, okay, return me those records where the multi-select pick list contains this specific value. So let's say multi-select can have multiple values, right, for a record. So if you specifically looking for that specific value, then you can use includes. If you want to check for multiple conditions, you can also say A is equals to this, and so then what will happen is both the conditions should meet in order for those records to be returned. For example, if I go ahead and I say, let's say we do this. So select ID, comma name, comma industry, comma revenue from account. Okay. Now I don't have, we do have a field called annual revenue. Okay. So now, okay. So here I say where industry is electronics and annual revenue is greater than oh my god, that's such a big value. Okay, so now in this case, it will only return me those accounts where the industry is electronics and annual revenue is greater than this number. So now let's see if we got any record back. Let me put this. Let me see if this works. It shouldn't, but let's see. Okay, so here. Oh, it shouldn't be double. So here, if I say, let's see if this works. Okay, so now it gave you, it is greater, annual revenue is greater than this and electronics. If I say or, now what will happen? It will give me all the accounts where the industry is electronics or annual revenue is greater than this. Not both. Doesn't have to be both. So you can see here more records got returned. That is the power of using and versus or. When you use and means both the condition needs to satisfy. When you use or means either one of the condition should satisfy for that record to be shown. Any questions? Omar, Leena, Kalyani, Lohit, any questions? So far, it's very simple. Okay. Next you have is, okay, so let's go ahead and do this operation. So Leena, what's going on over here?
You are.
Wait a minute. Let me
Yes.
copy. 1 second. Let me copy this. And here we go, and we paste it here. And so tell me what is the first one is doing.
Okay, so we're selecting the ID, name, stage name, amount from the opportunity where the stage should be prospecting or qualification, and the amount greater than 10,000.
Okay. So means either the stage could be prospecting or qualification, but amount should be greater than 10,000. That should always be the case.
Mm-hmm.
And now what is happening over here?
We have a set here, and the set has the following strings, which is close won, close lost. We're selecting the ID, name, stage name from the opportunity where the stage is in stages. So in stages, that means it's in close won and close lost.
Very good. So basically, this is called binding. Remember, I told you that we are doing a dynamic query where at runtime, the values of stages will be replaced. And this is where your stages variable is. It has two values, closed won and closed lost. So it will basically return everything, all the opportunities which are either in closed won or either in closed lost. Okay. And this one, if I run this query, it will basically pull up all the records which are either in prospecting or qualification, but amount will be greater than 10,000. And you can see here, the stage name is only either qualification. There is one for prospecting, but if you look at the amount, all of them are greater than 10,000. Okay. So moving on, the next one is okay. The next is order by and limit and offset. So order by means if you want to arrange them in ascending or descending fashion. Okay. So here you can see sorting the accounts by name from A to Z. Okay, so anything that is, let's say, Burlington will come before, then United, because letter B comes before, then letter U. So here, this is your query, and this is how you can do it by going over to here you can say it is giving you ID, name, annual revenue back from account, and it will arrange them. Right now, it will arrange them in the ascending order. So ASC means ascending, and it will give you only 10 records. So if I run this, you will see the output will be in ascending fashion. So if you go here, letter D comes first, then E, then G, then, wait a minute. Oh, that is still the old one. Okay, so you can see here, B came first, Burlington. Then you have D, Delta, Edge, E, Express, Gen Point. So all of them is in the ascending order. If I change it to descending, then Pacific will come first and it will reverse the order. So you can see here University is coming first, then United, so letter U comes first, then T, then Summit, and all of them are in this order. Okay, so last time it gave you a different list, this time they gave you a different list. But these are the top 10 records, and the other one was ascending fashion and descending. So this is the word you can use, order by, and then do you want it in the ascending fashion or descending fashion? Now going back, you have sorting the opportunities by the amount. Similarly, very simple. You can do something like this. And we go back here. So here it is giving you all the opportunities where the stage name is closed one, and it will order by the amount. So the maximum amount will be on the top. You can see here, maximum amount is on the top and the lowest amount is at the bottom. Okay, so it is arranging it in the descending fashion. So it's amount. Okay, that is your order by clause. Pagination. So in the case of when you have, let's say, 10,000 records and you can't show all 10,000 on one page, so you will create pagination, right? Page 1 will show first 100, then the next page will show 100 to 200, then the next page is going to show 200 to 300. So here it will show you the offset. Okay, so here what will happen is it will skip the first 10 records and it will give you from the next 11th record. So you're setting up the offset here. So let's say if you go here, it won't give you the first 10 records. It will basically start from the 11th record and return you the 10 records from there. So this will help in case of pagination. When you have large records and you want to show it, you will do something like this. Now here, if you want to sort by multiple fields, so you can go ahead and copy this. So in this case, it is sorting. First, it will order by the last name and then the first name ascending. So let's see what's going to happen here. So I'm going to get rid of this. So it is getting everything from contact, ordering by the last name in the ascending fashion, and first name. So let's see. So bar as last name is in the ascending fashion, and then first name. First, it is doing it based on the last name. So you can see here, bar came first, and then whatever bar's first name was, it was arranged. So basically, it kind of did it in the fashion of, if I change this and if I remove this, let's see if the result changes. So let's do this. And we go over here. This is your output. Now, if I remove this, it kind of gave you the first same one. You can see here, with and without is the same. Bar, Tim, Bond, John, Boyle, Lauren, Brown, Chen, Linda, D. Cruz, Liz, Davis, Carol, Davis, Josh, Davis, Omar. Yeah, so it kind of arranged order by last name, and then it, if that probably last name was not present, I'm not sure on this one what's the case. I have to see, sort by multiple fields. Believe if the last name is not present, then it will do a sort by. I'll check this one tomorrow. Remind me, guys. Yeah.
I think if two last names are same, then basically it's gonna do, right?
That makes more sense. So let me
Otherwise,
write
it's
it.
always the last name or something.
Yeah, because it will always ordering by the last name. Yeah, in order to remove the confusion, it will use first name then, probably.
Right.
Yeah. Now, another thing is you can use nulls last or nulls first can also be added with the order by to control where do you want to show null values. Do you want to show null values on the top? Let's say you are doing order by the amount and some of the records don't have amount. So you can say that, okay, all the null values, you push it towards the end, or you can say null values first. So it will push it the null values top, and then it will do the arrangement. So you can do that also. Order by amount descending, null values will come at the end of it. So you can do something like that also. Now, there are certain variables that are given to you by Salesforce. Okay, so Salesforce, to make your life easy, it says today represents today's date, yesterday means yesterday's, last n days, and then you provide n. That means records from last 7 days or last 8 days, you can use this last n days, and then you can provide the number here. So it will give you all the records which were created in the last 7 days. Okay. Next 10 days means upcoming next in the end days, in the next 10 days. This week means current week, last week means previous week, this month, current month, last month is previous month, this quarter, current quarter, last this year, and last 10 months means last 5 months or last 6 months. So these are some variables that you can use, and it makes your life much more easy. Now here, if I say, let's say we do something like this. Okay, so now we will, any questions so far, guys, before I jump to the next topic? Can I go move on to the next thing? Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay. So here you have, and before I move on, there were quite a few people who were looking for Platform Developer 1 certification to be passed after this classes. Have you started looking at the practice test, guys? I believe Lena, I don't know who were interested to give. Omar, I believe you were interested to give Platform Developer 1, right?
Right.
Yeah, even
Okay. Okay. Did you guys started looking at the practice test?
where can we find the practice test?
You couldn't find it? Okay. Did you check Udemy or Focus on Force or just online if you can find some? I'll try to see if I can find some practice tests. But start looking at those practice tests and see where you are in these questions. That way, if there is anything that you cannot understand or you don't know, then bring it up and I will help you understand those topics. So now is a good time to practice those questions.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So now here coming back, you have, let's say now, Kalyani, what's going on over here? So tell me, what will this query return?
So it will select the ID, name, and close date amount from the opportunity, but the close date is this current month, and we have to find whether the stage name is not equal to quest one. So it will return those query.
Both needs to meet, right? Close date should be current month, and stage name should not be this month.
Closed one, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so now if I go here, run export, you have no data. Let's see if I can pull up OR here, and let's see if you can get any data here. So stage name, okay, so now close date is 12/2025. Let's do this month, or let's say we do last 90 days, and we do, and let's see if we can find anything. Yes, so you can see here all of them are within the last 90 days, and stage is Let me also copy stage in here, which I should have.
So this month means it will include the March
month,
only, right?
March, not April. Current month is going to be March. Okay. So now it gave you all the opportunities which are not in closed one, and their close date is within this year, last 90 days. Okay. Next one is case created in the last 7 days. So if you want to do this, you can do it this query, and you have last n days, so last 7 days. Okay, so do you have any contacts that were any cases that were created last n days? We can do it, let's say 30 days. Let's see if that gave you anything. No. 90 days, last 90 days, let's say. Okay, so let's try to create a case and see if that pulls up. So we go here, we create a case, new, okay, name. Okay, save. And now if I go here, run this. So what just happened? Okay, last 30 days, let's do. Last n days, and I'll do 15. So only the run that we just created showed up, and order by created date in the descending fashion. So the one that was created recently will show up, and then it will take it from there. Comparing with a specific date. So if you have like a cutoff date, you can create a date instance. We looked it up very early how to create a date instance using date.of_new instance. And then you're saying, give me everything which is greater than that particular date. Okay, so then you can use all comparison operator. Then you have is the aggregate functions. So aggregate function basically perform calculation across a set of records and return a single result. Okay, let's say you want to calculate the total number of records, or you want to calculate number of non-null values in a field, or you want to do sum of, let's say, opportunity amount, if you want to do something like that, if you want to do average. So these are some aggregate functions that are available if you want to figure out the maximum that field holds, the maximum value of that field, or minimum value. So these are some aggregate functions that are available. So aggregate functions perform calculations across a set of records and will give you back a single value. They are used with aggregate result return type, except count, which returns an integer. So if you're using count, then the return type would be integer. But if you're using any of the other things like sum, average, max, minimum, the return type will be aggregate result. Okay, so let's say we do this example. So here, let's walk through what's going on. So here we go and we paste. Okay, so starts from here. So now in the first example, we are doing a count. So what it is going to do, it is going to give you the total number of account that are present in your org. So it will give you a count. Okay, so total accounts will be, this is going to be the integer number, and you're displaying the value of those. So if there are 30 accounts, then it will give you the number 30. Similarly, if you want selecting the sum of amount, means you are doing opportunity from the opportunity object. There is an amount field. You are saying do a sum of all the opportunity amount and call it as total revenue. Okay, so you are renaming that value. Basically, you're saying that sum of amount, you putting into this new column called total revenue. And now you're saying count ID total deals from opportunity. Means how many opportunities you have which are in the closed one. How many, count those many opportunities. Okay, let's say there are 5 opportunities or 6. Count all of them because ID is unique, so you're using count of ID. Okay, so let me explain to you. So first you're giving the amount, sum of amount means the total amount that is present across all the opportunities, and how many opportunities are there whose amount is equals to this. From the opportunity, stage name is closed one, so only look at those opportunities which are in the closed one status. So let me go ahead and actually query this and see what the output is going to be. So here I can run this. So you can see here, total deals that are there are 8. Okay, so total deals which are in the closed one, we have total of 8 deals, and their total revenue from all those 8 deals is this much amount. Okay, so now if you want to check it yourself, you can see how many opportunities are there and how many of these opportunities are in closed one and how much is the amount. You can sum yourself, but we don't have to do all of that. We can just use these aggregate functions which calculates the sum of the amount field which is available on the opportunity and puts it under this new column called total revenue, and it is telling you how many opportunities made up this revenue and only count those opportunities where the stage name is closed one. Any questions, guys? So this is using aggregate. Omar, are you following?
Yes.
Okay. So similarly, if I go back, now it is saying, so whatever, so this aggregate result is a list, right? It is returning you a collection. So in that collection, the first 0 means it is going to return you one row, right? One row. So that in that row, you have 2 values. You can see here only one row was returned, which has 2 columns. One is total revenue and the other one is total deals. So if you go here, you are saying results of 0 dot of get total revenue dot of get total deals. So give me the revenue value and give me the deals value. And then you're using a debug statement to print the revenue and the deals. Similarly, you are saying, give me the maximum amount, create a column called max deal. So giving me the maximum amount, not the sum, the maximum value and the minimum value, minimum deal and maximum deal and average amount. Okay. From the opportunity where stage name is closed one. So all the opportunities where the stage name is closed one. So let's do this. Before I do any of that, I do select ID, comma, name, stage name from opportunity where stage name is, was it closed one, right?
Yeah.
Equals closed one. So here, now what is the maximum value here? Figure those out. Okay, so we have to figure out the amount thing, which I didn't add. So which is the amount, maximum amount? Which one is it? I believe this one, United Oil Refinery, that is the maximum.
Yeah.
What is the minimum? It could be either University of Arizona or it could be Grand Hotels SLA because both are same.
Yeah.
Or I can do one thing. I can do this. Order by amount descending. So now let's do this. So you can see here, this is United Oil is your first one. This is your last one, 9,000. And then you have to do the average. So it will do the average of these opportunities. So if I run this query, you will see this one. If I run it, it'll tell me maximum deal is this, minimum deal was this, and this is your average. Now you're using the result and getting that specific column. So you can see here, maximum deal is this value. This is minimum deal. So if I change it to, I can call it as Deepika 1. Okay, so then what will happen? The column name will change to Deepika 1. Okay, so here, that is the purpose of this max deal. So whatever is the maximum amount you figured out, you put it into a separate column name, which is called max deal. Similarly, the minimum amount that you figured out from those opportunities, you basically put it into minimum deal column, and the average amount, you put it into the average deal. So these are aggregate functions that are available. And when you are using aggregate function, the return type would be aggregate result, only except the count. Count will only give you a number because you're counting the records. When using the aggregate function, the query returns aggregate result object, not the S object records. Means we're not returning back opportunity or list of opportunities. You're returning back a list of aggregate results. And then you are using this get annotation to retrieve the values, where alias is the field alias you define with the as keyword. So you can see here, you can use the as keyword or you don't have to use the as keyword, but these are the column aliases, total revenue or total deals. These are the alias that you're given for the column names. Any questions, guys? Are you following?
Yes, clear.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Now the group by, we can talk about it tomorrow, but group by records, it groups one or more fields, so aggregate functions are applied per group. Okay, having filters the group results similar to where, but applied after the grouping. So if you want to group the records based on let's say if they're how would I say, if you want to calculate the contacts per account, right? So you're grouping based on the account, all the contacts which belong to the same account. You're counting that, okay, this account has 4 contacts, this account has 5 contacts. So that is something you can use is group by. So for example, if I do this query, just the last one, and if I run this here, one account can have multiple contacts, right? So this group by is telling you that this, let me also do account dot of name. Okay, and here, oh, what happened? Why doesn't this work? Oh, it's doing it based on that. Okay, I'll leave it as it is. Account ID. So here you can see that, okay, this account has 6 contacts, this account has 3 contacts. So you're fetching the account ID and you're calculating how many of them have the same account ID. Each of these 6 contacts will have the same account ID, right? So you are saying count those records where they group by the account ID, means count all those contacts where the account ID is same. Okay, and then you are just counting how many records are there. So if one account has 6 contacts associated, all 6 are going to have the same account ID. So you're grouping them by the account ID, and then you are ordering them in the maximum contacts are at the top, and the lowest number of contacts tied to the account are at the bottom, and only returning you 10 records. So if I go ahead and remove this, it is pretty much going to go through all the contacts, and it will tell you that, okay, each of these accounts have these many number of contacts. So this is the purpose of group by clause, means you want to group the elements together based on something common. So what is common on these contacts? Each of those contacts have tied to the same account. So it gave you this list here. That is the purpose of the group by, and we'll continue our discussion tomorrow on group by. We'll start from the next example. Any questions? Okay, guys. Take a look at the practice test. If there is some topic that you think it's not clear, let me know. I'll do a separate class. So the topics that are left right now are, after this, we have asynchronous Apex, which includes batch Apex, queuable Apex, future methods. Then you have is triggers, and then you have is integration. I believe those covers pretty much all of Apex. I'm not sure if I missed anything. Yeah. So there are 3-4 topics that are still left. So we should be done by the 14th of this next month, maybe within the 10th or so, depending upon if the pace is at the same and we don't cancel any classes. Okay. Hey guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Sorry, it's already good night.
Thank you.
Bye guys.